So Megan, let's start with our Welcome Miro board. The Welcome Miro board starts off with 3 really unique videos direct from Miro themselves. What is Miro? How to do basic collaboration, and of course, anytime you want to stay in for the long form of the video, get oriented to all the nooks and crannies of Miro itself. We've also included a variety of quick actions and shortcuts. Things like creating stickies, how to navigate the tool itself, and of course, a variety of shortcut keyboards, not just for the Mac users like Megan and I, but for the PC users as well. We also have the idea about how to add content, find content, finding other or navigating other people along our journey, as well as how to customize your menu that you see on the left-hand side here. You'll notice that I have apps like Brand Fetch that allow me to quickly figure out how I could get the brand standard logo for PepsiCo, as well as things like Icon Finder, and of course, a variety of undraw and emojis that you can pull from in order to augment your board itself. We're not gonna spend a ton of time today, Megan, on all these mechanical items, but are there any items that you find particularly useful that you wanted to bring everyone's attention for before we get hands-on?
I think that the shortcuts are a great place for people to find ways to create a text box without having to go over to that sidebar.
Okay, well said.
The other things that I think people might be interested in are the links out to the Miroverse and Miro Academy. If you want to get really good at using Miro, those are the places that you can go to learn more tips and tricks than we have here on our welcome screen.
Yeah, well said. We obviously love Miro and it's our tool of choice, but we certainly think that there's lots of implications here, whether you end up using Miro or a variety of other tools in order to ultimately advance your strategic design thinking.
That's right.
Okay, so we've covered the mechanics, and again, this board, like many of the boards you're going to see, is going to evolve over time. So a reminder that at any point, come back here. While the video may have changed, the templates will constantly be evolving. All right, Megan, let's go ahead and switch over to some hands-on work, starting with sticky notes, perhaps the love language of anyone who's doing design thinking. Now, you and I grew up as poster children for Post-its and a variety of very physical built environments. How should I start to think about the role of sticky notes as we do our various exercises today?
Well, sticky notes help us to keep data in small bites that we can make movable, and we can move them all over our screens. So that's why sticky notes are really helpful. So one idea per sticky note that we can move all over the place.
Well, that gets particularly hard, especially when you can move and shape and size the sticky notes. Okay, so Megan, if we just quickly wanted to illustrate both of us adding a note, I see that you are floating around my board.
That's right.
Even though we're sitting next to each other, your cursor would appear no matter where you are sitting to collaborate on Miro.
That's right. I could be right here, or I could be in Paris, and we could still work together on this board.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm gonna show everybody how to quickly go to the navigation and grab, in this case, a blue sticky note and place it on the board and type my name into it. Perhaps maybe you could actually hit the N key and add a quick sticky as well. And in just a second, oh, I see you already appearing. We'll see Megan's sticky note as well. And we can move those anywhere on our boards and frames, no matter where we are. We can also do things like grab multiple boards like you've done on many web applications you're already familiar with. And of course, we can take them and ultimately resize them on the right-hand side, or ultimately draw and connect by finding ourselves to the blue dots from one object to each other. Megan, why is it important that we have and encourage others to warm up a little bit before we jump right into our exercises?
Well, it helps for people to have a basic understanding of how this tool works, so that when you're doing your exercise, people know how to use it and aren't getting frustrated with trying to figure out the tool at the same time.
All right, Megan, we've talked a little bit about doing the fundamentals with Post-it notes, and we would encourage everybody to explore and see what new apps are always being updated in this particular digital whiteboard, whether it's grabbing images or doing Post-it notes along the way. Let's see some other types of reactions we can have as just a starter conversation where we are. So now we've moved down to another frame, what we call the objects that are located inside of a board, which include the shell of everything we've built here today. And you'll notice that I've included an image directly copied and pasted from the web of the most expensive non-fungible token you can imagine, over 90 million at the time. We'll see if this ends up holding the record for much longer. Now, what you're also seeing is I'm able to zoom in on relatively high fidelity. So Miro is great at capturing whatever resolution is available in the image or object that we've posted on the board. But not all the time do we want just Post-it notes. So if we didn't want to drop Post-it notes on here, Megan, what other types of reactions might we add?
Well, let's see. I could add an emoji.
Oh, I like the idea of adding an emoji. Let's go ahead and put on my emoji, which is complementary to yours. That can be sized and reshaped as well as ultimately connected and related to each other. Now, can I still add Post-it notes even though I'm not on my Post-it note section?
Let's try it.
Okay, a quick N key adds my note. Again, I can always come here as well on the left-hand side. All right, so we see some quick add to do actions. Again, our board is really about the opportunity to explore and get warmed up with these exercises. So on our current welcome board, we have things like stickies and hotkeys and how to navigate and how to add content. We've already added Post-it notes on our practice frame, as well as sharing and ultimately reacting in an emotional level. We've left the Puppuccino available for those to their own adventure. Now, there is also this interesting thing about digital boards, which allow a really unique asset to bring in images from the web. Now, it's important to realize that images from the web, in addition to different types of objects, are really critical. And we've introduced this concept around something called an icebreaker. So Megan, why and when do we use icebreakers?
Well, so there's two reasons that I would use icebreakers. When we're using this as a collaboration tool, when we're bringing lots of people into the same place to work together on the board, icebreakers are going to help to get everyone warmed up and having fun and talking and sharing and working together. The other reason that we can use icebreakers in these kinds of tools is it helps people to sort of double task that getting warmed up and learning how to collaborate and learning how to use the tool. So they can learn some basic tips and tricks like we have here, adding icons and adding images in the course of that icebreaker.
Excellent. And I see that maybe someone is a diehard kiwi fan in the fruit that we have up on our top left-hand side. And I have ultimately created a few of my favorite delights and sprinkled in a little bit of the emoji that makes me feel when I'm lucky enough to have mac and cheese, let alone chicken and different vegetables that are good for me these days. Now, the other advantage, Megan, about an icebreaker is it not only helps people use the tool and become more fluid, but it also helps a conversation start to occur. How have you seen conversations evolve from icebreakers? Is it a way to get to know each other? Is it about understanding our own bias and your bias? Is it a good way to understand just how much of an expert versus an adventurer I am about a topic? What kinds of things do you prompt after someone has done this thing like an icebreaker?
So when we're asking people to share things about themselves like their favorite food, we are getting to know each other better, and it kind of gives us some common understanding of each other. It may also reveal some things about our colleagues that we didn't know before. Like if I notice here that you have mac and cheese on your board and I also like mac and cheese, maybe I can share that with you, and it will allow us to become closer as we work together.
Well said. Okay, so perhaps one opportunity to explore in our many fields here is the icebreaker related to choose your own meal. But there's lots of other ways to break the ice. There's a few other features here that we've created in and around the idea of creating your own billboard that can be themed about your city or your company or your topic or your favorite activities. We've also included an interesting exercise that allows you to explain your current or emerging reality to the aliens that someday may join us here around the globe. Are there any other icebreakers or go-to activities that you wanted to just put out there to the group, even if they have not seen any of these already?
I think the icebreakers that we have here cover a wide range of topics. For example, getting to know each other, or things like aliens have landed, so that you can understand what people think is important about our current digital environment. There are lots of ways that you might choose to warm up your colleagues and get them going with this tool. You might choose one of the methods that we're going to teach you here pretty soon that would allow you to learn about what people are excited about with regards to the project and what they're worried about with regards to the project. That's another way to sort of jump right in, get on topic, and get people warmed up.
Yeah, well said, Megan. In fact, navigating the feedback loop of being able to see, well, what type of mac and cheese someone has, or in our case of aliens, what type of art, code, or technology we might ultimately want to project to them.
That's right.
So we'll leave it to everyone to choose their own adventure, but we did want to show one more thing about our welcome board, which is our home base or our hub, which is our ability to ultimately navigate to a variety of templates. You're going to see these templates evolve over time and adapt and change, because certain methods that once worked may change to be something different in the future. However, if you ever want to go to any one of these templates, simply click on the frame and go ahead and choose the source logo. This will allow you in the Miro native application or in a browser to ultimately go directly to our templates we're gonna dive into in just a second. All right, Megan, anything else you wanted to offer everybody about our hub?
I think that's it. I'm excited to see them get started.
Okay, great. Just a reminder for everybody. These templates, patterns, and tools are gonna evolve significantly over time, and where we start today is only the beginning. We're looking forward to your ideas, your collaboration, and then Megan and I and others experiment with these very patterns. We'll be ultimately tuning them to healthcare or financial services, people that are very early in their career or very late, people that are in the corporate setting, and those that are very entrepreneurial. So have fun, enjoy your time exploring these patterns, and thanks again to Carnegie Mellon, the Schwartz Center, the Corporate Startup Lab, and the alumni that have brought this kit together. All right, Megan, let's jump in.
Let's go.